The Buds bounce back with a big win over the Bolts. Let's break it all down on today's edition of the Locked On Leafs podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
You're Locked On Maple Leafs, your daily podcast on the Toronto Maple Leafs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome into the Locked On Leafs podcast, a daily Maple Leaf-centric podcast hosted by myself, Mike DiStefano, and my co-host, Dave Morassutti. What a game we were just treated to, Dave. Toronto downs the Tampa Bay Lightning 4-3 in overtime. They complete the season sweep of the Lightning. And how nice was it to see our boy, Matty Knies, come through in the clutch for the Buds tonight, Dave?
It was quite nice. I was literally just about to say it was a nice day, nice win.
I don't want to, pat myself on the shoulder there, but who said that he was going to be the X factor in this game tonight, the player to watch?
Hopefully you put your money where your mouth was on that one.
I did. I would, FanDuel was very nice to me tonight. Very nice to me tonight.
How many times am I going to do this one?
Very nice. Very nice.
I will say I did say he needs to back up his talk. He can't just say it. Got to go and do it.
Yeah, he did just that. He was an absolute beast tonight. His second career hat trick. And the dude's just money around the net. It's crazy. Like he's just such a battler. He finds that little soft pocket between the net, and he's always willing to go to those areas and kind of beat out a defender and find loose pucks and deposit the change. And that's exactly what he did on the first goal. And it's, was able to battle with the defender and get a deflection on the second goal. And then on the third one, a bit of a broken play, but he's just sitting right there at the side of the net for a little backdoor tap in. Probably the easiest of the three goals he was able to score, but it was the biggest one, the game winner. And I was just one away from 30, Dave. One away from 30 goals for Matthew Knies with 4 games left to get to that milestone. I'd imagine he will, but man, what a development he's been this season. And again, you talk about how crucial this guy has been to the Maple Leaf success against the Tampa Bay Lightning. When he's in the lineup, they're 7-2. 7-2 when he's in the lineup. In those 9 games, he now has 10 goals and 16 points. It's outrageous. This guy is literally Lightning kryptonite. It's crazy.
It's crazy, and he made it look easy. He makes it look easy. Like, a player is in his groove when in overtime on a 2-on-1, he decides to put it between the legs to pass it instead of shooting it. Would she shot that one, but it did eventually lead to the empty net goal. I'm sorry, not the empty net, but the game-winning goal, which felt like an empty net for him.
Little backdoor empty net tap in, yeah.
Yeah. Like, we knew he was that Matthew Knies was ascending. He was going to be going to another level. It really just started when I can't remember who it was that said it, but somebody during training camps like, this guy is a beast.
Yeah.
He added weight. He added muscle. Yes. He made it his goal to add some mass to him so that he would be even that much stronger, that much tougher to go up against. And you mentioned it, the 2 goals he scored, before the overtime winner, beating the defense, not just beating the defender to the net, out muscling the defender, like no one. I don't think I've seen Matthew Knies get ever since the Bennett hit. I have not seen Matthew Knies get manhandled, outmanned, pushed off very easily.
No,
he is a problem for any team that tries to defend him and keep him out of the play.
Yeah, he's a unicorn, man. Like, what's the stat? Only him, Brady Tkachuk, and Tom Wilson have like 25 plus goals and 150 plus hits in the league. Like that's quite the trio to be in. And the Leafs, we've been talking about how much the Leafs need a player like that, and you're seeing why. Because Toronto, they haven't scored a whole lot in and around the net over the last few years, especially in the playoffs. A lot of their scoring has been relied upon, off the rush with, talented players, mind you, guys who can really shoot the pill, but now they can add that extra element. And, a night like tonight, you see where that really comes into play against a team like Tampa Bay, where, and they're not going to give you a whole lot, right? They can defend well. And, if you can outwork them in front of the net, there'll be opportunities. And it's exactly what the Leafs got tonight. What else kind of stuck out to you for the Maple Leafs win here tonight?
The start. Like start was ridiculous. After what they did against Florida, I don't like to be the Debbie Downer, but it's like, where was this? Where was this the night before? It looked like a totally different team, right? And who led the charge? Who were the guys? It was the top line, right? They smelled blood. They asserted themselves into the game. I did say, you got to get Vasilevsky early on. You got to test him. You got to get in his grill. You kind of said it too with Matthew Knies has got to get in his grill.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like they listen to us.
Yeah. Well, they've got his number, man. Like they're in his head. Yeah. Like this guy's let in like 4 goals or more in so many games. Like coming into the game, the last 10, he was 3-7 with like an 893 goals against. Like those numbers went even further down after tonight's game, gave up 4 in overtime. So, like they played the way they had to. They played fast. They played with pace. They shot the puck. They went to the net. And I thought also a big reason why that top line, look at both the goals that were scored, they were kind of like relentless on the forecheck, and they caused a couple turnovers at the blue line, which allowed them to, have some odd man rush, right? That counterattack was really, really big for them. And it allowed them to score a few times in this game tonight. So that was another big reason why Toronto had success. They were just so good at, forcing Tampa into that mistake, and Toronto capitalized, which was really good to see. And, that top line, both goals, that's kind of what happened. It was a turnover at the blue line. Leafs were able to keep it in, and they were able to kind of, allow their offense to get cooking. Beautiful shot by Mitch. Just a nice little play to get it past the defender and chip it up over the goalie. And then, Matthew Knies is a little 2-on-1. Matthew shot the puck. Knies picks up the rebound, puts it into the back of the net. And it was 2-0 before you really were able to sit down. Like it was a lightning fast start for the Buds. And remember when I texted you, there was like a play or two later, Lawton with a nice little feed up to Pontus Holmberg, who almost buried it, made it 3-0. And Leafs Nation would have it would have been bedlam if that happened. Like Lawton to Holmberg to make it 3-0. Yeah, it would have been, an epic way to kind of get the night rolling. But ultimately, they still were able to get the victory. It was a really good game. Like overall, it was a great hockey game to watch. And hopefully we do get to see Leafs and Lightning in a 7-game series. I'm hoping it's in round 2, not in round 1, Dave. Hopefully in round 2. But a Maple Leafs win tonight does make it more likely that that's how things would have to shape up if these two want to meet again in the 2024-25 season. With Toronto's win, they go up by 3 points now on the Tampa Bay Lightning. We'll get to all of that and the rest of the playoff race and position jockeying. What's the magic number? We'll get into all of that next, and we'll also get to our 3 stars of the game. You're listening to the Locked On Leafs podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. It's your team every day.
Do you have trouble sleeping? If so, you're not alone. That used to be me, lacking rest, tossing and turning. I was late for meetings. I never felt like myself. That's until I found Bare Mattress. Bare Mattress and their sleep recovery technology helped me fall asleep faster, as well as enjoy deeper sleeps. I felt like myself again, and you can too. Bare Mattress knows that every sleeper is different. That's why they have their sleep quiz on their website that finds you your perfect match. As a side sleeper, I matched with the Elite Hybrid mattress, and I've been telling everyone in my life they have to try Bare Mattress risk-free. You can sleep on your Bear mattress up to 120 nights. And if you're not getting the best sleep of your life, you can get it refunded. They'll pick it up with absolutely no hassle. So go to bearmattress.com and use my promo code LOCKEDONNHL at checkout to get 40% off site-wide. This offer is not available anywhere else. You have to use my promo code on the very last page of checkout to get this discount. That's bearmattress.com. Use my promo code LOCKEDONNHL for 40% off site-wide. Bearmattress.com, promo code LOCKEDONNHL.
The Locked On Leafs podcast continues. I'm Mike DiStefano with Dave Morassutti. We're here each and every weekday, Monday through Friday, bringing you everything you need to know about the Toronto Maple Leafs. Make sure to subscribe to the Locked On Leafs podcast, free and available wherever you get a podcast, and also up on YouTube as well. Toronto with a 4-3 win in overtime. Matthew Knies gotten goals number 2. Goal number 3, and then goal number 4 to win the game for the Toronto Maple Leafs. And it's funny. I'm gonna ask a question. I'm gonna ask you a question here, Dave. Okay, because right now we're obviously fully in love with Matthew Knies and what he was able to do here tonight. If you woke up in the morning and you saw, you woke up in the morning, which headline do you think would excite you more? A Marner extension or a Knies extension?
Ooh. Oh, I actually had a bit of a conversation, not this specific conversation, but I was watching the game with some friends, and every goal Matthew and I scored, it was almost like, get this kid signed.
There's another $1 million. Oh, that's another $1 million.
On the broadcast, I don't know if you heard Sam Costantino go offer sheet kind of under his breath.
Yeah, well, that's another threat, right? That's another threat, which is why it's like maybe you want Knies not locked up here. It's really tough. Like between the two of them, obviously the Maple Leafs probably want to bring both back, but I'd be pretty stoked if I saw a little Matthew Knies contract extension come through to tomorrow. Because man, they got to try and get this kid locked up long term, because the way that he plays, they don't have someone with this element in their lineup, and he is proving to be a big time goal scorer, big time player, big time battler, and competitor. And he was my first star of the night. I can tell you that as we transition into our 3 stars of the game here, Dave. I mean, it's no surprise. Matthew Knies, that guy was the guy in tonight's game.
He was the guy. Even with just the 2 goals on the night, he probably still would have been my guy.
Yeah.
Again, he was a beast. Like the Leafs haven't. I don't know when was the last time he really took over a game like that, right? Like where he and what kind of annoyed me a bit about tonight. You got Matthew Knies tormenting the Lightning all night. The one shift that he had in overtime was the one he scored on. How is it that was the only time we saw him in all that overtime? That was the only time we saw him. There was a lot of Willie, Matthews, Marner, Tavares. I get that. Those are your guys. A couple of those guys didn't look like they didn't want to be on the ice for that overtime. They didn't want to play the puck. Then you get Matthew Knies out there. What does he do? He goes right to the net, makes that that ridiculous pass. Yeah. Then he's like,
your Burbay's comments after the game.
Not what I would have expected or wanted him to do there.
As like, I probably wouldn't advise that play, but it's a creative game nowadays, and guys are going to do stuff like that. And it wasn't costly. Now, if he makes that pass and it gets picked off, goes the other way for the OT winner for Tampa, different conversation. But it actually ended up eventually leading to his hat trick goal in the game winner in overtime. So we're good with it, right, Dave?
Yep, totally fine with it. Only problem is it was going to Morgan Riley, who right now he's not a guy that wants the puck on his stick either, from what it seems. No. So luckily it all worked out. Fortunately,
Riley Auston found Big Tone. Yeah, he found the guy who needed the puck.
Big Tone's like, you know what? Knies should shoot this one. I think he needs to shoot it this time again.
Yeah,
it worked the first time. They said technically a rebound, but still set him up, right? So I think Matthews understood the assignment. He understood that he's the hot hand, get him the puck.
Just as an aside, yeah, we had a lot of conversations this week about whether or not Matthews could, encroach on Ovechkin's goal record. And if you look at the two monster seasons that Matthews has had, I feel like there's been a lot of like net front goals that he was able to score, whether it was, rebound or he was playing net front and getting some tips. That's not necessarily the position that he finds himself in now because Matthew Knies is there and he's so good and so effective at that role. Where I wonder too if like we should expect a little regression from Matthews the rest of his career. Maybe he never threatens 70 again. I still think he'll be a 50 goal scorer. Don't get me wrong, but threatening 70 again, maybe out of the realm of possibility if he's going to have a partner like Matthew Knies park himself in front of the net and pick up some of those types of goals too.
Yeah, and I always say that when if you're a player like Matthew Knies, you're thinking about taking an offer sheet. Just know you may not be playing with an Auston Matthews. You might
Or a
not
Mitch
be playing
Marner.
or a Mitch Marner, right? So before you think about the offer sheets that might come your way, Matthew, think about who you would potentially be playing with and not be playing with.
Yeah, having a lot of money though helps ease
Yeah.
that concern.
Yeah,
What?
money does help in ways. Yeah, it does.
Yeah. All right. Who's your second star tonight?
I went with the overall how do I put it? The commitment to blocking shots.
Okay.
This team, like, it was a bit of a shooting gallery for Tampa at time, but there were a lot of. Well, first off, maybe I should have given the post second star because
I was going to make that joke and I was going to say like, oh, should we give it to the post? I mean, what you get 4 posts on that one power play? It was insane.
I said like maybe Anthony Stoller is gonna have to pay for a few dents to be
Really.
fixed. 33 block shots by the Leafs tonight.
That's great. That's awesome. That's
That
without
is
Jake McCabe too.
Yeah, without Jake McCabe, there are a few guys on the blue line that maybe didn't have exactly their best night. But if you are gonna have some of those turnovers, you better be willing to sacrifice the body to make sure that some of those pucks don't get on net. So I'll give like I thought it was a more physical performance getting in the way of those extra chances by blocking those shots. I'll give them a lot of credit for that.
Yeah, Lawton led all forwards with 5 blocked shots. You'd love to see that from Lots putting the body on the line a little bit. And defensively, I mean, everybody was blocking shots, but
Yeah.
Morgan Riley blocked 7 shots tonight. 7 shot blocks from
Crazy.
Mo. Brandon Carlo had 4. Chris Tanev had 5. Benoit had 4. And OEL had a couple of shot blocks as well. Philip Myers, no blocks, but did deliver 3 hits. And obviously did not play very much at all. He only played 7 minutes tonight in this game. So, yeah, it really, the commitment level to blocking shots. You could tell the Leafs knew that this was an important game that they had to win.
Yeah.
And they were putting their body on the line to get it done. You gotta love that. Gotta love the compete level from the squad. Anthony Stoller deserves a lot of love too here, right? Like I think tonight again. It's now 6 straight wins here for Stolarz. I thought he had claimed the starting role a couple of days ago. I think again tonight he just puts a little exclamation on it and say, "Don't matter who we play in the championship. Or in the first round. I've now beaten Florida. I've beaten Tampa. Don't matter. We can definitely go toe to toe with these guys." Or he feels he can go toe to toe with Vasilevsky or with Bobrovsky. And he had another great night tonight for himself. Ended up with 25 stops on 28 shots, and then made that massive save on Braden Point there in OT to keep the game alive and give Toronto the best chance to be division winners. And eventually Toronto went on to win the game, and they got the full 2 points. And Stolar's big reason for it. He had a good game tonight. Certainly did.
Yeah, I thought there was especially with all the power power plays.
Yeah.
I thought they did a better job of making sure there weren't a lot of those secondary chances, but he outdueled Vasilevsky tonight.
Mhm.
When you go out there and you say just save more pucks than the guy on the other side. When the guy on the other side is a Vezina candidate, you have to appreciate when you get a performance like that from Anthony Soros. It wasn't like his best that we've seen from him, but it was good enough, and that's what
It
you
was
need.
good. And look at the underlying numbers on natural stat trick tonight, Dave. The Lightning had 44 scoring chances. 12 of them were high danger chances for an expected goals of 4.47 goals tonight. So they only got 3. So, 1.47, basically 1.5 goals saved above expected uh, for Anthony Stolarz tonight. In terms of expected goals in all situations, the Lightning probably should have won that game. They controlled 57% of the scoring chances there, or expected goals. So goaltending can mask some warts, and it did for sure tonight. He came up with a couple of big saves, and another reason why they ended up.
Yeah, I mean that's in the long run, that's kind of what they ended up winning. Like my third star was like Marner Matthews. Well,
Yeah,
finish up the top line. They're on the ice for all the goals for.
yeah,
I would have liked for a better that second power play goal that Tampa had. Mitch didn't make the right play on it, going for the dive. There was an opportunity for
right.
him.
He tried.
He tried too hard. He didn't. He could have made a simpler play. He tried to go for a bit more of the flashy play, and I'll give Auston Matthews credit though, because he took a shot off the foot, which kind of gets to another point I wanted to bring up, which is maybe we don't have Auston Matthews play as much penalty kill right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I could get behind that. But like this was a playoff game for me, so I can understand this game.
Yeah,
But going forward, like next week, if he's playing in game 81 against Buffalo, no need to have that guy on the penalty kill.
no.
Absolutely no need for it.
Have some,
None at all.
let somebody else sacrifice their body for it, please.
Yeah, yeah. Let's get Steven Lorentz out there. Scott Lawton can continue to block some shots, but you don't need Matthews out there getting hurt. Absolutely not. All right. That'll do it for the 3 stars. On the other side, let's talk a little bit about how this playoff race is heating up all around the league. One team was eliminated tonight as well. We'll tell you who that is next here on the Locked On Leafs podcast.
Today's show is brought to you by Wonderful Pistachios. Looking for a snack that's both delicious and nutritious? Crack into a good source of protein with Wonderful Pistachios. Wonderful Pistachios is one of the highest protein nuts. Each 1 ounce serving has 6 grams of protein, giving you over 10% of your daily value. Plus, they're packed with fiber and better for you unsaturated fats to help you keep feeling fuller longer. I like the no shell variety. It's good to eat when I'm at my desk here doing some work, and it doesn't make a mess here. And it's good if I want to take it on the go. It just the ease of it, and they come in some nice packaging, which makes it easy to open and also to have with you in your car as well. Now, make sure you also consider the classic options. They have so many different flavors. You like the ones without any salt? They got the unsalted. You want some nice roasted pepper? They got that as well. They got so many different flavors to choose from. So make sure you go and check out Wonderful Pistachios. Get snacking and cracking with the snack that packs a protein punch. Visit wonderfulpistachios.com to learn more.
Welcome into the Locked On Leafs podcast. Mike DiStefano and David Morassutti with you as always. So with the Maple Leafs winning tonight, we almost had a full. Well, technically, we got the Toronto parlay. Check, right? The Leafs won, the Jays won, the Raptors all won. That's great. But what also happened, your Jays, Dave, our Jays, but you're rocking the jersey right now, so I'll call them your Jays, swept the Bruins. Swept the Bruins, the Boston Red Sox, swept the Red Sox. That'd be something if the Jays sweep the Bruins, but swept the Red Sox in their little 4-game set here tonight. And then 4 games, 3 games? Either way, they swept.
They have one. I think It's a 4-game series they had.
Oh, maybe there's one more actually. There's
One
but
more.
they
You have
won
one
their
more
third
game,
in a
so they're
row.
going for. They've won the series. They can go for the sweep.
Yes. So they can go for a sweep tomorrow. Toronto swept the Tampa Bay Lightning tonight, and Toronto Raptors could have made it quite a magical night for all these Toronto teams. They did win tonight, but they lost the earlier season matchup against Charlotte. So no sweep available for the Raptors against the Charlotte Hornets, who are an absolutely dreadful basketball team. And it's unfortunate that the Raptors have a loss to them on their record, but could have been interesting if you get like all three teams win tonight and like completed sweeps. Thought that could have been a cool little trivia matchup. I'm curious how many times that's happened in one night, but either way, a fun night if you bet the Toronto parlay. And if you're a Jays fan, a Leaf fan, I guess a Raptors fan, there's not a whole lot to celebrate, but they got the win, maybe one of the final ones of the season. But for Toronto, that win puts them up to 100 points now on the season. So that's what, 6 straight seasons they've hit 100 points for the Maple Leafs, or at least full seasons where they've hit 100 points for the Maple Leafs. It's a 4th year in a row, potentially, I think, where they've done this. But they now sit 3 up on Tampa Bay with 4 games to go. Not out of the woods yet, Dave. We talked about how this win would pretty much solidify themselves as Atlantic Division champions, and they do have a really good chance to make that happen. Like, I'll look it up on moneypuck.com. I'm fairly certain that they are now, with this win, going to be in like the high 80th percentile. It was like 83% chance to win the game or to win the division after tonight's win. Tampa, just a 16% chance to win the division. Florida, 0.3. They're basically out of it, but not quite out of the woods. You're saying there's a chance, Dave, that Toronto could still kind of flounder down the stretch here. What exactly does the final 4 games look like, and how can Toronto what's the magic number for the Maple Leafs here, Dave?
So the official magic number for the Leafs to clinch the Atlantic, they need 6 points. 3 wins would officially eliminate Tampa from that. So you look at their schedule coming up. They do have another back-to-back coming up, which, I mean, good God, NHL. Thank you for all these back-to-backs. So they have the Canadians this weekend, along with the Hurricanes. It's a nice
tough back-to-back.
It is a very tough back-to-back. It's going to be a challenging back-to-back. And you finish with a 2-game slate against the Sabres and the Red Wings. So, you find a way. Now, it does also help if Tampa were to lose a game or two down the stretch here as well. Tampa's next game is against the Red Wings, who are not officially out of the playoff race, but more likely out of the playoff race. Then they got the Sabres, Panthers, and Rangers to end their season. So for the Leafs, it's more so just try to pick up as many of those wins here. Now, the 1 point they allowed Tampa kind of made it. I mean, losing to the Panthers didn't help, but giving the point to the Lightning still kind of kept them around a little bit. But at this point, it's a foregone conclusion the Leafs are going to be winning the Atlantic. More importantly, you're hoping that, and it's looking like the Lightning and Panthers is where things are trending. James Myrtle tweeted out, it's a 76% chance it's a Leafs, Senators, Battle of Ontario, round 1. Yeah.
Because you've got 83.7% chance Toronto finishes first, and then Ottawa 95.5% chance. 89.9% chance that they finish with the first wild card spot. So very high likelihood now at this point, with how things have unfolded in the last 48 hours, that we will see the Battle of Ontario, which I am very much excited for. And then also the Battle of Florida. Like, that'll just be great to see also.
Yep.
And we can let them, kick the crap out of each other, and hopefully Toronto takes care of business in round 1 and can get a beaten squad down in out of the state of Florida in round 2. And, hopefully at that point they can take care of business again and booked themselves a spot in the Eastern Conference Final for the first time since 2002. Been a long time since that has happened, David, but it's also been a long time since they won the division. Take away the Canadian year, haven't won the division since 1999, the 99-2000 season. 25 years, Dave, since they've won their division. 25 years.
We were 6 years old that year.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Like my whole fandom, they have not won the division. Like
that's like when I first started really watching hockey. It was kind of the start of the Cujo era. So
exactly,
yeah, it's a long time. I know. I got vivid memories of those Leaf Sens, those Battle of Ontarios, those historic Battle of Ontarios.
Yeah. So hopefully we do get it.
It's looking very likely, and it look from what I'm seeing, like the East it's one spot. And it's pretty much, I think, going to be wrapped up for Montreal if they. I think
I'm a belief. You look at both sides personally. I think both the East and the West. I think the teams that are currently, I think the playoff teams are set. Like whether there's like Vancouver got eliminated tonight in the West, so it's basically Calgary is the only other team that's even eligible to catch St. Louis or Minnesota, but they're 6 points back. With
6
points
back, they like the
they
Wild
game in hand, I will say, which makes it a little more intriguing. But I still think that the 16 teams that are currently in a playoff spot, I think they pretty well got this thing locked up.
I think the only matchups you're looking for here is in the West. Which one between the Wild and the Blues are going to be wildcard 1 and wildcard 2? Unfortunately, it's like, let's get the wild card 1. Well, then you're going up against the Golden Knights. Okay, we'll settle for wild card 2. You get the Jets.
Dude, the Jets and Stars are still very close, I will say. Still very close. Like there's only 4 points, 4 games to go. Like Jets go 1-3 down the stretch here, and Dallas goes 3-1. They win the division. Like it's very possible that the Jets or the Stars could still get it done. I think it's unlikely, but they're not completely out of the woods yet. They're in a similar situation.
Those two teams also play each other tonight, so that's
ooh.
So if anyone's looking for a game to watch tonight with the Leafs not playing, that's a big game. That literally probably decides the division.
Oh, 100%. Whoever wins that game certainly will win the division. 8:00 puck drop for those who are wondering. Winnipeg, Dallas. It's in Dallas too. So Stars as the home team maybe have a little bit better chance. But yeah, I still think that's up for grabs, funny enough. But other than that, I believe all these teams are pretty much locked in. Like Montreal, I think their magic number is what? 2 points? I think Detroit, they have 5 games left. They're sitting at 79 points. Same with the Islanders. Same with the Columbus Blue Jackets. And the most they can get to is 89, which means the Montreal Canadiens currently at 87 would just need to get one more win to get there. 3 points, I guess, to get to 90 would completely lock them into it. So I think that's their magic number right now is 3 points. So 3 points in their final 4 games, and they're 100% guaranteed into the playoffs. Whereas the rest of the teams literally have to win out in order for them to have a chance in their final 5 games. And Detroit does not have an easy sked because they play Toronto and Tampa. So good luck. Good luck.
Montreal needs to just they have to collapse at this rate, which they haven't. They found a groove, and they're getting they might get a little bit of a boost as well.
They got Sens and Leafs Friday, Saturday. It's a back-to-back. And then they got the Blackhawks the following Monday. Which is their last second last home game. Then they play Carolina, which is a home game as well. Apparently, I think the Blackhawks game is what they're targeting for Demidov, that home game there.
Yeah, I mean, the guy's coming from Russia. I don't think it's something that happens quite quick.
I would have thought it'd be great to see him, though, in the battle of, Leafs Habs Saturday night would have been awesome, but I think that's unlikely at this point. But yeah, there's still some stuff to be sorted out here when it comes to the NHL playoffs in the final week of the regular season. I think, it's over a week today. A week today will be the final set of games. Leafs play Detroit that night, 1 week from today in game 82 of the season. Who will be in the lineup that night will be interesting. We'll see if the Leafs can get all their milestones out of the way before that, so we don't have to go on 100-point watch or 50-goal watch or anything like that. But we'll see what ends up happening. Anything else you want to get into, or you think we're good for the night?
We're good for the night. Just a little one storyline to keep an eye on. Gabriel Landeskog loaned to the AHL for a conditioning stint.
Yes.
That's going to be an interesting one for two reasons. One, if he does come back for the playoffs, huge. I mean, again, look, the guy's been off for so long. You have to temper expectations, but I think just the emotional boost that could provide the Avalanche. Oh boy. It's gonna be very interesting. So yeah, I've been keeping an eye on that story for a while. It's been a very gruesome recovery for Landeskog.
Yeah, and they're pretty well locked into the third seed in the Central, so they'll play one of the two teams, either Winnipeg or Dallas. They're very familiar with both of those squads in the playoffs. They played both of them last year, and they'll play one of them again this year in round one. And yeah, I mean, that'd be quite something if Gabe Landeskog, after missing 2 years of hockey, can somehow get back and play some minutes here for Colorado. I think his days of being an impact player are probably behind him. But if he can play any type of role at all and provide a massive morale boost for this team, and they can rally around him, that will be big for the Colorado Avalanche. Absolutely. All right. That'll do it for us here today on the podcast. I'd like to thank you all for listening and supporting the show. You can subscribe to the Locked On Leafs podcast on all platforms and receive daily Leafs content. Follow myself on Twitter at Mickey_Canuck. Follow Dave at D_Morassutti, and follow the show as well at Locked On Leafs. We'll be back with another episode for you guys tomorrow. Until then, keep it locked right here on Locked On Leafs.